All right. What's going on, man? In today's video, I'm going to be showing you guys exactly the blueprint on how I lost 30 pounds and I gained 10 pounds of muscle and I built a foundation to pursue personal excellence. And as you guys can see here, this was me before and this was me after. So before I managed to get into shape, my life was a mess, man. As you guys can see by the visuals over here, I was probably in the worst physique combination possible. I was skinny fat. I was skinny on my arms and my legs, but wide on the stomach and the back. I had a lot of bad vices, man. I was smoking. I was watching pornography. I was eating fast food and I was doing drugs. And as a result of just being in a bad physique, as well as having many vices, my mental health was all fucked up. Um, because look at me, man. I look like a piece of shit in the first picture. I look like maybe some of you guys watching this video right here. All right. And just because a combination of all three of these right here, having a bad physique, having a bad vices, and having poor mental health, I was broke, man. Because I was lazy, man. If you combine all three of these, this is a recipe to just be broke. So when I got into shape, all right, it helped me build a foundation that a lot of these issues were resolved. So I lost fat and put on muscle, and I felt 100 times better on my skin. It's obvious, man. When you are happy with your physique, your confidence naturally will go up. I quit many of my bad vices because, building physique was a priority for me and it did not serve my fitness purpose. So I dropped all of them. My confidence skyrocketed, as mentioned earlier. And because of that, a lot of my depression and anxiety was reduced significantly. So I felt amazing, man. And on top of that, too, because I got into the best shape in my life, my ambition started to rise and it gave me energy to go put in some work to actually increase my income. So, who is this training actually for, man? So, if you're someone who wants to get into the best shape of your life, this is for you. If you're tired of not getting the respect you deserve from others, this is for you. If you're someone who wants to kill the demons in your mind, this is 100% for you. If you're ambitious and want to hit big goals in other areas of your life, such as school, career, and business, this is for you. And overall, man, if you want to be a role models for others to look up to, whether it's your kids, organization, or community, this is for you right here. Who this is not for, okay? The process I'm going to be talking about, this process that I'm going to be going into is not for people who have a victim mindset, people that are looking for a quick and easy way to get fit. Do you know how ridiculous that sounds? That's like when a motherfucker tells you, "Oh, get rich quick with this scheme right here." Obviously, you're not going to believe them. If you're someone who does not want to invest in yourself, part of the requirement to actually get into the best shape of your life, you're going to have to buy supplements, you're going to have to buy a gym membership, you're going to have to put some skin in the game, man. So if you're not even willing to invest into yourself, man, this is 100% not for you. If you can't sacrifice 5 to 10 hours a week towards your fitness goal, this is not for you because in order to actually hit your goal, you need to cook meals and go to the gym. If you don't even have 5 to 10 hours in your week to dedicate towards your fitness goal, which is very little, you have about 168 hours every single week. And if you take away, work, let's say you work 40 hours and you sleep 8 hours a day, you're left with 72. I'm only asking for 5 to 10 hours, but if you can't even do that, man, this 100% is not for you. And if you're someone who wants to be average, man, my bad. I just found that funny. Just wanting to be average. This is definitely not for you. Now, here's the truth, okay? You don't have to spend 2 hours in the gym every day like you might see these fitness influencers talking about. You don't need to be genetically gifted, all right? This was me before. I don't have the best genetics. It does not have to take years to see a big difference in your body, all right? And you don't have to follow some wacky crash diet. This was just kind of like a meal I had when I was going out the other night. It was some Malaysian food. It was awesome, man. The food was great. I was still able to, hit my fitness goal and still look like this over here and not look like this over here. But listen, man, I'm not gonna let that happen to you. There's no such thing as I don't have time to work out, or it's too late, or I'm too old to get into shape, or I don't have what it takes to get into shape. The point is, unless you're part of the 1% with underlying conditions that prevent you from getting into shape, you are not the exception to the rule. And you can get into the best shape of your life. I promise you, man. There are just two pieces missing. You just are missing that knowledge as well as the application. And if you want that person to be you, I'm going to show you exactly what to do. I broke it down in 4 steps right here. You're going to learn the mindset you need to achieve your fitness goal, how to stay consistent so that the small wins accumulate, giving you that physique you admire, the nutrition you need to follow, as well as how to work out so you actually can make some gains at the gym. And in case you don't know me, maybe this is your first time watching me, I'm going to give you guys a brief background of how I got here, okay? So fresh out of high school, I was lost with no direction, man. I had gone through a bad breakup, which led me to a downward spiral. My mental health was all fucked up, and to escape my pain, I turned to vices like smoking, eating, fast food, watching porn, and endless scrolling through social media, all right? A lot of the vices that you may have. These habits led me to poor spending choices, and I was always fucking broke. I never had money after the first few days of getting paid. And I was lucky if I had some money after. It was usually the day I got paid, I usually don't have any money left over. And additionally, I was getting progressively worse, digging myself deeper into a hole of just failure in not only those aspects I mentioned before, but also just like in my academics, relationships, and my life was just starting to crumble, man. As you guys can see by these visuals right over here, man. So that's why the Shook Training 4-step process is my system I built through my own trial and error by studying and researching optimal strength training routine, nutrition protocols, and the neuroscience required to transform your mindset. Now I've decided to break it down for all you guys right here so you guys can have some transformations like this over here. In the following steps, I'm going to outline the entire A to Z process of what I did to accomplish these results. So you can use my Shook Training 4-step process to lose 30 pounds, gain 10 pounds of muscle, and transform your mindset in the next 180 days. So the Shook Training 4-step process is broken up into 4 different sections. However, it's very, very, very essential that you go through this in chronological order, all right? Because I promise you, if you try to skip to the nutrition or the training and you don't go over the first 2 points over here, you're guaranteed to fail, man, all right? Because if you don't even have the foundation, how can you do the advanced shit? And most likely, you have no foundation whatsoever. That's why you came here to learn. So the 4-step process is first the mindset where you're going to have to create a new identity to actually hit that goal and reinvent yourself. You need to understand the importance of consistency and accountability and how you can maintain it, man. Because if you don't have consistency and accountability, man, it doesn't matter what kind of protocol you follow. If you follow the best training and the best nutrition protocol, but you don't have consistency and accountability, I promise you, you won't hit your goal, all right? Then afterwards, we're going to be talking about nutrition, as we know that nutrition probably plays 80 to 90% of your results in the gym. And then the final part is the training protocol and what you and how to, and I'm going to teach you how to actually train to actually get results, because a lot of you guys I see at the gym, man, I see you guys at the gym for years, man. You guys haven't gotten results. And that's due to the fact that maybe you just don't know how to properly train. And that's what I'm going to be breaking down for you. Now, let me show you exactly how I use each step for both me and my client Abidi. So we both were able to burn fat, we gained muscle, and we developed a mindset that allowed us to choose personal excellence in our lives, or chase personal excellence in our lives. So the first one is mindset. So why is mindset so crucial? If your mindset is not in the right place, it will be impossible to hit your fitness goal. All right. I don't care how much you diet and exercise. You will not be able to stay consistent with it if you're depressed, you feel like shit, and you don't have the motivation to go. If you have, and this is just a side note, if you have serious mental health conditions or even really bad trauma, get some support and help from whatever resources you have available, man. Because I'm telling you right now, if this right here is not in order, if your mind is not in the right place, man, it doesn't matter what I tell you to do. You're just not going to do it because your mind is not in the right place. And part of the process of just getting your mindset in the right place is forgiving yourself. Because as you guys saw from my story, I fucked up a lot in my life, man. I really did. And one thing that held me back for so many years was I was always stuck in that mindset and frame where, man, I made so many fucking mistakes. I'm this old, man. I'm an adult, man. And I just made a whole bunch of mistakes that have led me down to a place in life where it was completely unacceptable, man. And I was just ashamed about it, man. And the only way I really got out of it was just forgiving myself, just realizing that, that was just me in the past, right? And that may just be you in the past. That was just who you were. You made some fucking mistakes. Accept it, man. And forgive yourself. Forgive yourself for being such a fuck up, because when you start forgiving yourself, that's going to allow you to actually create a new identity. And then once again, if you strengthen your mind, man, the body will follow. I can't stress this enough. If your mindset is not in the right spot right here, it doesn't matter what the fuck you do. You will not get the transformation you were going after due to the fact that your mindset pretty much creates all the actions you do, which gives you your results. So this is how we can actually create a new identity, okay? So I got this from one of my mentors, but basically you need to kill your old identity, right? And we need to find habits and character traits of the man you want to become, okay? So what you're gonna do is you're gonna get your phone out and you're gonna go, or you get a pen and paper, whatever's easier for you, and you're gonna write in the title, "The Man I Want to Become," okay? And this is an example right here, but basically you're going to write down everything this person you want to become does. So let's just say, for example, the man I want to become is someone who has a crazy physique and is aesthetic, right? So I wrote down, he goes to the gym every day. He never misses a workout. He always follows his diet and eats clean and does not have processed food. And he gets adequate sleep every night. He trains hard at the gym. All right. You want to write at least a minimum of like 15 of these. All right. When you make a list, okay, do everything on that list and you have to live by that way. Okay. So if you wrote down he goes to the gym every day and you're fucking missing a gym session today, but what the fuck are you doing? You're not becoming the man you want to become. Okay. So you need to create a list of daily habits and actions that are going to ultimately cultivate the man you want to, be. And I stress this right here. You have to do it every day consistently. You got to win every day. What does a win every day mean? You follow all the daily habits and actions of the character you want to become, and you do it every single day. As long as you do it, as long as you finish the day and you did everything that was on that list, you can feel happy in the moment because you won that day. All right. And what ends up happening is if you do this long enough and consistently enough, the only thing that's really stopping you from your goal is just time. And here's just a bonus right here, a list of ops, man. Because I use this personally because, the pain and pleasure principle states that we are either chasing after pleasure or running away from pain. So right here, the man I want to become, right? I'm chasing pleasure in this sense because when I'm doing these actions right here, it's ultimately going to create the person I want to be. And we're going to use pain right here by creating a list of ops. So basically, and that homie that switched up, that ex-girlfriend, the teacher who said you weren't going to be shit, the old boss, anyone who downplayed you or talked shit, you're going to put them on a list. Now I know what some of you might be thinking. Oh, well, is that really good? Or is that really healthy? Or like this mindset coach said you shouldn't be so. you shouldn't have so much anger within you and all this. You know what, man? If that's you, man, you can get the fuck off this video, man. This here is for the real G's, man. And I truly believe everyone has a dark side, whether they want to admit it or not. So what I do is I'll just create a list of ops, and at the bottom of the list, I put down, if I do not do these actions right above here, all right, these motherfuckers were not hating on me, all right, my fault. These motherfuckers were not hating on me. They were simply just telling the truth. And oh my goodness, when I see those people on that list, it creates so much pain that I just by default have to do the actions of the man I want to become. So do you see how when you kind of rewire your brain in this kind of mindset that, you know, it's way easier to hit your goal because you're just creating a new identity, right? The second part of this is going to be consistency and accountability, all right? So why is consistency important? So I always say consistency is always undefeated. It's always undefeated. There's nothing that can beat it, all right? The biggest reason why people are not able to hit their fitness goals is because they can't stay consistent. I'm telling you, 90% of the time when someone says they've been working towards a fitness goal and they haven't gotten any results, I can almost guarantee they're just not being consistent, all right? Burning fat and putting on muscle is a very slow process, okay? And not being consistent will either slow it down or hurt your progress. If you can just improve by 1% every single day, you will be 37 times better in a year. Just think about that, man. You'll be 37 times better. And if you can stay consistent with the other 3 pillars that I'm mentioning in this presentation, the only thing from stopping you from hitting your goal is legit time, right? That's the only obstacle. You just have to wait a little bit, okay? But you wait that little bit, you're going to be the man you aspire to be. So how to be consistent, all right? So I wrote down right over here ways you can be more consistent. And these are things I personally use, right? So one way is to create a habit tracker, right? So I just made the sample one right here, but the three things, your workouts, your macros, and your sleep, you create a habit tracker. And let's say today, you know, you hit everything, you would just put down yes. And then let's say, you know, the next day after you hit your workout, but you didn't hit your macros and you didn't get 7 hours of sleep, you would put no and no. And then at the bottom right here, it has a health score right here. And the point of this is that it's just going to gamify doing all the correct actions every single day. Because eventually you're going to be like, man, I want to make this entire sheet green. Literally, the key to success is just making this entire sheet just fucking green. You see all yeses, bro. I guarantee you're going to be making progress. But if you're not making progress, you know exactly why, because you see all these fucking red no's everywhere. Another way is just by having an accountability partner or a workout buddy. You know, we as humans tend to think we are better than we actually are. So if you actually have someone that's keeping you accountable, you're less likely to miss the gym or fuck up on your diet. Read the list of ops, how I mentioned earlier. All right. That's a good way to always be motivated. So if, you know, when you feel like not going to the gym and feel like skipping a workout and not being consistent, just read the list of ops and realize that if you do not hit that workout or you do not follow your diet, those motherfuckers were right about you. And then you want to reserve cheat meals for days when you go out and make it a cheat meal, not a cheat day. Okay. So another thing I see people doing and fucking up on is that they'll go out one weekend and they'll have like, you know, they'll go to somewhere nice and they'll probably eat out a little bit more than they would in the regular diet, but then it carries over to the next day and then it carries over to the next day over. And before you know it, they just mess up their entire diet within a couple days and they start back on Monday and they're exactly where they were last week. All right. That's part of the reason why you see a lot of people who go to the gym regularly every single day. You may be one of them, but you get no fucking results. Okay. Because you just take the weekends off. And one way you take the weekends off is by having a fucking cheat day instead of a cheat meal. Okay. And I mentioned here just have it, make the cheat meal something where it's a special occasion where you're going out. Don't make it like, oh, I have to have a cheat meal once a week, man. No, do it like, let's say you go out with your friends one weekend. Let's say you go to a wedding, shit like that. Don't make a cheat meal just because you feel obligated to have a regular cheat meal. And then the golden rule is to never miss 2 days in a row. And I got this from Atomic Habits. Very good book. Okay. Very good book. I highly recommend you read it. But one of the principles he has is never miss 2 days in a row. Okay. The first time you miss a day, it was by accident. The second time, you're creating a habit of not going to the gym. Okay. So golden rule, never miss 2 days in a row. So if, let's say, you didn't hit your macros and sleep, make sure it doesn't happen the next day again tomorrow, okay? So you don't have to fucking beat yourself up about this shit. Just don't let it happen the next day. Now I'm going to be talking about the nutrition protocol. So why is nutrition so important, okay? 80 to 90% of your gains will come from nutrition. I'm going to stress this really hard, man, because it doesn't matter how much you fucking work out. If you are not eating correctly, going to the gym will just basically be a waste of time. And you can never out-train a bad diet, bro. I don't give a fuck how much you exercise, man. It will be impossible, okay? And what you eat also affects your brain and your cognitive ability. And in case you think I'm talking some bullshit, I pulled up a study right here where the question was, is the consumption of ultra-processed foods associated with cognitive decline? All right? And what the findings were that when you reduce the amount of ultra-processed food, it could be associated with reduced cognitive decline in middle-aged and older adults. So it stands to reason that if you want to still be sharp in your head, all right, stop having the processed shit, all right? That's why nutrition is so important. And it also affects your emotion, mood, and mental health, okay? This study over here discusses the results of the population-based studies, and basically what they found was that when you eat whole foods, it was associated with lower depression, lower anxiety, lower stress, whereas the typical Western diet, the one in North America, pattern was associated with higher risk of poor mental health, okay? So it stands to reason that nutrition should definitely be very important for you. But once again, if you do not have the mindset and the consistency towards your nutrition, the shit will not fucking work, man. All right? So the nutrition protocol to follow, okay? So this is what worked for me, man. You need to track what you eat. And the way you track what you eat is by downloading MyFitnessPal, and every single time you eat some shit, you put it down there, all right? And that may require you to actually get a scale, for example, or some measuring cups, because if you're not accurately tracking, how do you know if you're doing the right things? It's like a business relying on how they fucking feel instead of looking at the data. Imagine Apple was like, hey, let's just release this new iPhone without looking at the data. We'll just do it just because we feel like it. Obviously, they don't do that shit because, they rely on their data in order to make money. So you need to rely on the data of what you eat in order to get the physique you want, right? So if you want to lose fat, right, you want to be eating at your body weight times 10, which will be your daily caloric intake, okay? So if you are a 200-pound man and you want to lose fat, you need to be eating 2,000 calories a day. And the way this works is like, let's say you get down to 195. Well, now your body weight is technically 195 times 10, which would be 1,950 calories as your daily caloric intake. So you slowly just regress it based on how much weight you're losing, okay? And if you want to gain weight, what you want to do is get your body weight and times it by 20. So if you're a 200-pound man, you want to be eating 200 pounds times 20, which is 4,000 calories, all right? And same principle applies. If you are, let's say you get up to 210, all right? It's going to be 210 now instead of 200, okay, times 20. And that will be your daily caloric intake. And this is really important right here. You want to aim for 1 gram of protein per pound of body weight. Example, a 150-pound man needs to consume 150 grams of protein, right? Do not believe the hype of the calories in, calories out bullshit. Okay. I see this all the time. And yes, technically speaking, if you're just getting your protein in and you're following your daily caloric intake, you theoretically could hit your fitness goal. But the thing is, on paper, it sounds nice, but in reality, it doesn't work due to the fact that when you don't prioritize whole foods, a lot of these other foods that have like 30 or 40 different ingredients in them, such as like cookies, cakes, donuts, McDonald's, fast food, and all that other shit, they literally have been designed to be more addicting and make you more hungry, which will lead you just to eat more, man. So a good rule of thumb, man, is to just in general have food that has very few ingredients. And for example, chicken is great because I know the ingredient is a fucking chicken. Broccoli is great because I know the ingredient is a fucking broccoli. Eggs are great because the ingredient is an egg, right? So you don't want to believe the hype of calories in, calories out because it just won't work long term, man. And trust me, what that will lead to is you making some poor choices when it comes to your food. And that will eventually lead to you perhaps binging or just completely going off the track with your diets and just quitting, giving up, and being a fat fuck forever. All right. Now we're going to go into the training. So why is resistance training and cardio so important? All right. Resistance training builds muscle and size. Muscle actually helps with burning fat. The more muscle you put on, you're actually increasing your metabolism, as when you have more muscle, your body burns more calories at a natural state, which is awesome. You don't have to do cardio or you don't have to do extra cardio or anything, and you'll just naturally be burning more calories. So it stands to reason if you're trying to get lean and aesthetic, you should put on some muscle. And then on top of that too, cardio helps with being in a caloric deficit, and it's just good for your mental health. So to start off, man, cardio is really good to be in a caloric deficit because you're going to burn calories when you're doing cardio, and it's amazing for your mental health, man. I always say that I tell everyone that my daily non-negotiable is to do 30 minutes of cardio every single day, because when you're doing cardio, it's just you and your thoughts. You're not worried about what's happening at work. You're not worried about what's happening at school. You're not worried about any other bullshit. It's just you and your thoughts, which allows you to just, it allows you to operate at a higher frequency after, because, you're just like completely exhausted after. And I find personally, man, that I just have some of the best ideas after I hit a really great cardio session, and I always feel amazing after. You may think it's some bullshit, man, but I'm just telling you what works for me and what actually helped me make the transformation and give me the mindset, to transform my life. And on top of this, too, I just wanted to quickly point out that the reason why resistance training is also important is it helps fills out your frame so you don't end up skinny fat like me. So I initially was actually way fatter than this, but when I lost the weight, I wasn't doing resistance training. So basically, my body was just trying to keep as much fat as possible because I had virtually no muscle on me. Okay, so if you don't want to end up skinny fat and you're trying to lose weight and you're only doing cardio, you're going to look like me. But if you add at least resistance training, it'll help form your body out better, and you will fill out, your frame better. So the training protocol I recommend is to aim to hit the weights 3 to 5 weeks and follow a workout plan. It can be any workout plan, but my general recommendation is 3 to 5 times a week, a workout plan that's between 45 to 60 minutes. Okay. You don't have to do 2-hour workouts, anything insane like that. Just 45 to 60 minutes is good. All right. The most important part is actually going to be, the training intensity, but before we get into that, is just I also just wanted to mention to do daily 30 minutes of cardio, and it does not have to be high intensity. I'm actually quite against high intensity cardio. What I prefer and want you to do instead is to just do a high incline and low speed on the treadmill. So like maybe an 11 incline 3 speed, and do that for 30 minutes every day. You're going to catch an amazing sweat. And a good way to tell if you're doing that steady state cardio is if you're able to have a conversation with someone, then you're generally in a steady state, okay? All right. You may not have the best conversation because you're sweating and all that other shit, but I know for a fact if I'm sprinting, I definitely can't fucking talk to you. We also want to focus on hypertrophy training, which is progressively increasing the weights per set. I know it's pretty obvious, but in order to actually build your muscles, you need to get stronger so they can actually grow. So you want to progressively increase the weight per set. So let's say you started off with, I don't know, 30 pounds. Maybe by your last set, you're doing 40 to 50. And you want to train until failure, okay? I see a lot of you motherfuckers that will train and you just train until you get slightly discomfortable, all right? That's not enough. You usually have an extra 2 or 3 reps that you can push out, all right? And your last set of reps should take your all to push that weight. And to kind of give you a visualization, I have this video right here, which is a great example. If this video is going to load even. Let me see if I can watch it on YouTube. Okay, well, for some reason, when I recorded this presentation, the video, now it's working. Let me see if it can work like this. Okay. All right, my apologies, man. The video's not working. It's not functioning properly. I'm not even gonna try, but basically, I'm gonna try kind of show you right here. It's just like if the reps are getting slower by the time you get to your last set and you're making like the faces this dude is making, that's generally a good sign that you're training to failure. And one of the most, this is probably, I think, the most, this is, no, this is definitely the most important part about it. If you're trying to build muscle, okay, we're trying to look good. We're not trying to like be the strongest motherfucker. We're trying to look good. So the mind muscle connection, you need to focus on the muscle actually being worked rather than the weight. So that if that means you need to drop your ego a little bit to lift a little bit lighter, then fucking do it, man. Because at the end of the day, you're trying to, look good. You're not trying to be the strongest motherfucker ever. All right. If you are, then maybe you could, but if you're watching this video, I assumed you would want to get an aesthetic physique. All right, so just move myself down. So the Shook training 4-step process has been designed to help you burn fat and gain muscle while also building the new identity that will allow you to chase personal excellence. And I just wanted to kind of show you guys some of the results that some people got from following this 4-step process. You have me over here, you got my boy Abidi, you got my other boy Luke, and we all like got into the best shape of our lives, and we also just improved other aspects in our lives. Now that you understand exactly how this process works, we have an offer for you. If you are overweight or skinny fat, you have maybe low confidence about yourself, you don't feel the best, and you're struggling with your fitness goal for more than a couple months now, and you are ready to get into the best shape of your life, you're looking to develop that bulletproof mindset, and you're someone who values their time and wants to get results as fast as possible, what I want you to do is click the link in the description to book a call with us to see if you would be a good fit for the Shook Training Academy, where we're going to help you personally one-on-one lose 20 to 30 pounds of fat, gain 5 to 10 pounds of muscle, and have the mindset to develop your own personal excellence in 180 days using the Shook Training 4-step process. All right. If that sounds like something you would be interested in, click the link in the description. All right. And if we think you're a right fit, man, because we won't just take anyone, man, because this is pretty fucking hard. And this will be the hardest thing you ever fucking do. But I promise if you are the type of person that is able to go through this, your life will completely change like mine and the others who have followed this process. All right. I hope you guys enjoyed today's video. I'm going to catch you guys in the next one.